right. Malpal, let's head on over to the hotline. I teased it earlier, but we're bringing on Superwoman. I would say that it would be hard fought to find people that have busier schedules than we do on a normal basis, but Jeni Neatherlin, Granger ISD Superintendent, definitely surpasses us on that. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing well. How are you?
Doing well. All right. So we know a lot about you, but for anyone out there listening that might not understand just how many different hats you wear, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's on the docket?
Well, first off, why I'm on the show is because I'm just an avid sports fan, right? Just like y'all. So, that's job number one. But no, I'm a former coach, and I am a former coach and a former teacher and turned administrator, and I'm a consultant and just kind of wear all the hats, a mom, a sister, God's daughter, all of those things.
I was fixing to say, like we said, nothing on our plate. Absolutely nothing going on. All right, so
but Ashley, can I tell you how I learned about you, though? Can I tell the story on that?
Oh, my, yes. I would love to hear that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so as a former principal and the principal of Llano, I got to discover who everybody knows that Ashley is a Llano grad. And then one of your former teachers came up to me because everybody knows I love football. And so they're like, oh, yeah, you've got to see this video that one of our former students put together of a pep rally, and she emceed it, and she did all this stuff, and she's at UNT and doing these great things. And so I watched the video, and I was so impressed. I said, I have to meet this girl. She is fantastic. She does have a crazy career about to just take off, and here you are now.
Well, thank you. And I was just going to say, as you were there, was my brother in high school yet when you were there, or was he still in junior high?
No, he was in high school.
He was in high school.
He was mine. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yes, sting 'em first and foremost.
Oh boy,
that's where this all started, down there in LTX. But all right, let's start from back in the beginning there for a second, because you said obviously you were a coach. I believe softball, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Volleyball, basketball, track.
So again,
mainly softball.
A lady that wears many hats. You were a coach, so that's obviously where this love for sports started, and being able to work with students in that way. What was it like to be a coach, and just how much fun was that for you when that's where you started off?
So coaching is just a passion, and so I mean, if you love sports and you get to coach, that's just a bonus, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that, one of my, our technology director today was just even talking to me about how much do I miss it this time of year. And I said, I almost have to suppress it because I miss it so much, right? Like being outside in the fresh air and just softball practice. And then after the practices, rolling your windows down and just, taking in a hard day's work. And I just loved it so much, and the connections that you make to kids and the impact that you can have, because being a coach, I mean, you have such an opportunity to impact kids and motivate them to do so many things beyond school and beyond the game. And so, I mean, I just fell in love.
And you've been many places in your career, but now you are, of course, at Granger. So what makes Granger feel like home to you? And why did you choose Granger?
I'm thankful they chose me, right? So that's kind of one of those things. But, Granger is a lot like Llano, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fit, the love of sports, the small town community where everybody is invested, and you have a great opportunity to be successful because people care and people have a passion, and that's their kid, and that's their neighbor, and that's their friend that's participating, and that you're taking care of them and you're helping them grow. And so it just was a good fit for both me and my daughter, and we've just been very fortunate to be here.
Now, obviously, you talked earlier about how much coaching meant to you and stuff, and that's always it's a hard thing to leave doing that, but I know in your eyes that you saw being able to be an administrator was an open door for you to, I'm sure, make an impact in a lot more ways than just on the field, and that's That's got to be a challenge. Like you said, you miss it a lot. But when did you know it was time to maybe take a different route? And was it the idea of being able to help in so many different aspects that kind of pulled you into the world of administration?
Well, first off, I love teaching. And teaching was a passion of mine as well. So, I say the two things that I was good at were school and softball, right? And so, I just loved teaching as well. And so I saw an impact in the classroom, and then I saw an impact on the field. And so I just saw, once it came to, obviously it's hard to be a mom and raise little ones and coach as well. So to all the female coaches out there that do it, I mean, my hats are off to them because they just work so hard and they make so many sacrifices. And so, but I will definitely say that I knew that it was coming, and I'd always kind of prepared for it because leadership has just been somewhere where my heart has been, and one of God's gifts, I feel like. And so it really was a natural transition once that I was coming back home and just kind of going, I went back to Midland, and I was at Lee, and I was ready to make the leap. And luckily, all the skills that I had gained in coaching and teaching for all those years translated very well into leadership.
Now, I know that that's a full-time +7 job in and of itself, just being the superintendent, doing all that you do, but you also do something that I think is really stinking cool, and that's the consulting side of stuff. And we talked about it. You're one of the very few, if not the only female that helps Texas high school football, well, I guess you could say Texas Independent School Districts, choose their Texas high school football coaches. Take us into that world. I mean, what is that like? How does that process work? I'm just very interested to hear how that works.
Yeah. Well, first off, it's because my coaches don't let me go out, and they don't let me do halftime speeches and stuff like that. I keep asking them, and they keep going like, no, we got this. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Whenever you're ready to let me in, I'm ready. But no, I have just been very fortunate to be a part of that process in the hiring side, especially on the administration side. And so I just saw a need of how like athletics needed to be bridged with school improvement. And I've been very fortunate to be a part of many school turnarounds. And so in just starting this process, it is a great process. But the process for me is the fact that we get to see how athletics and academics connect and to create stellar school systems. And so I saw the need there, and it's been really, really fascinating to get to know all the different coaches and all the, in all the different areas across the state. And, there's a lot of coaches that are really just trying to get into that gig or trying to find their job or trying to figure out where they go. And I talk about it, how a lot of times it's very similar to a superintendent in a school district. You have to be the right fit. And so sometimes, you may be the perfect person that has like, the 10-0 record, and you're not necessarily the person that they're looking for because they want somebody that knows just as much about girls as they do about boys sports. And so it's really about listening to what the superintendent and the school board there and the administrative team really want and need from their athletic director, and then trying to help them pair that and match that with people that are out there that are really just hungry for the job and would be a good fit with them in the long run.
And kind of diving a little bit more into that a little bit, Ashley and I talked about this beforehand, but looking for the perfect fit for a coach, I mean, not only do you have to know about the football program, about the school, and you also have to know all about the candidates and which would be the perfect fit. So what do you look for in a coach when making the perfect hire? Well,
the biggest thing is not what I want or what I pick. It's what the district, because every district has said something just a little bit different, right? And, I had one of Mark Ruffin at Norman G had talked about on one of our Zooms, and he had talked about how when he was a young superintendent, he was looking for a seasoned athletic director that could just take the reins and roll. When he was a little bit more seasoned in the role of superintendent, he was looking for somebody young and hungry that was ready to just take on things. And so a lot of times it's about the fit that they have. But the one thing that I hear repeatedly over and over and over again from all of these school districts that are looking is that they want somebody who knows just as much about boys and girls. Like, it is a whole program. They want their girls taken care of, and rightfully so. And so they want to see how these coaches have demonstrated success supporting the girls.
And then obviously there are times when there might be administrators in school districts that they're not sports lovers. You know, they see it as another part of the education system, but they don't necessarily see it as a passion, or, like you said, the ability to really bridge the gap between the academic side of stuff. Between this, it's one of those units. You work as a team and it pulls it all together. If there was an administrator out there that maybe is a little bit reluctant to putting everything they have into athletics, what would you say is like the main benefits that you've seen between combining the two and working as a unit and as an ISD in that form?
Well, number one, because we're Texas, and we care a lot about our football.
And yeehaw!
I'm on the sidelines, rooting for our teams and taking hits on the sidelines because I absolutely just love and support our kids. But the byproduct of that love and support and hiring good quality coaches that hire good quality coaches on the other sports is the fact that it can translate to academic success, because it's about building a culture. And so, I know a lot of times, it's very, very fortunate that I have been able to have success in all the schools. But the biggest piece is, as the leader, we've had campus turnaround academically as well, right? And so, Leno was a 3-time U.S. News best high school, right? And so we can absolutely say that there is a correlation. So if they don't want to necessarily be a part of it because people care about it, then see how it translates to success academically. And once you can get a good coach that can kind of bridge that, I talk about our coach, Stephen Brush. Just the other day, he's in here having conversation with us about early literacy, just as much as we were talking about, okay, hey, we have a softball game here and we have a basketball game here and XYZ. So those types of things can happen. There's too many good quality candidates out there that want to be able to do all of it, right? And then sometimes they just want to be a head football coach. And if they want to be a head football coach, the bigger districts are for you, and roll. But I would just definitely, I encourage my my colleagues to support athletics for the sake, because it's what's good for kids and their communities. That's where their passion is. And if they want to turn around, I think it's the fastest way to turn around an academic school.
All right, I got 2 more questions for you here. The first one, some guy, Cal Neatherlin, I believe is how you say it. He was quote tweeting my tweet earlier, and ironically, y'all have the same last name. Seems like a way, less important Neatherlin here. But what do you know about that guy?
Oh my goodness! I told him that I was going to be on today, and he said, "What do you know about football?" Well. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." Yeah, I said, well, then I learned from you, right? So there we go. That's how that works. We're like 10 years old when we talk to each other. It's like this whole go back to that system.
How cool is it for you to have a brother that is in this world just like the two of you? And that's real. Like my brother, he's going into broadcasting. I kind of know what that's like, but to get to share that and to be immersed in the world of Texas high school football together, what's that like for you?
Well, first off, everything that I learned about my competitive spirit, I learned from him. So, he's my hero, he's my protector and all of that good stuff. And he was my coach when he was like, how many 19-year-old teenage boys coach their 12-year-old sisters and just fall in love with coaching and make a profession out of it, right? So he's been so wonderful. And it's so great to share that. I have a lot of really good friends that, that I've, the DC of Wimberley, Wes Lambert, he's my friend from college, Jason at Angleton, Jason Britton. I've just been able to be very connected to people who've been very successful. And it's just been so fun to like watch them and their success. And like you had on Cliff Watkins the other day, right? I worked with him at Lee and his DC, and it's just been amazing to have all these people that we've connected to over the years to just kind of grow and flourish and thrive. And I'm just one blessed woman. That's all I know.
And then finally, before you go, I know that you're always giving speeches around places. We always see you at coaching school, obviously leading seminars and stuff down there. Is there anything you have coming up lately or soon that you want to promote, or how can school districts get in contact with you? Is there an easy way to do that without giving out your phone number, that people can contact you?
Well, just find me on Twitter. That's the
There you
biggest
go.
thing. And just weighing a way to connect. And I'm happy, right now we are, we had passed a bond, and that helped our community. And so we've been in the thick of that. But I know in the summer that I have down on the coast, I have something I'm going to be speaking at, and for coaches and stuff like that. So I do want to say that this being a female in this industry, it absolutely is something that, it takes resilience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something that not everybody will look at you and go, okay, yeah, you know what you're talking about. And so I always tell people it's not necessarily about the X's and O's, and say, Ashley, like, y'all are actually way better at the X's and O's than I am. But the biggest thing is, when we talk about it, like, I can tell if somebody's competitive and prepared, and whether they respond well and adapt well, and how hard their kids are playing for them, and all of those things. And so these are all things that, like, translate very well and, like, are successful to making a really great AD. And, my brother comes by and does all those things naturally. But, when, as a female, regardless, like, we can still see those things too. And so, like, that's the coolest part about this job, is that you can learn it from a very different perspective, and see all the different parts that are moving, not just one.
Absolutely. She is Superwoman, Miss Jeni Neatherlin, Granger ISD Superintendent, and much, much more. You can follow her on Twitter at Jeni Neatherlin. Jeni, thank you so much again for all you do for Texas high school football. We've enjoyed watching you continue to go up and up, and what you've done for all the programs across the state. But thanks again for hopping on today. We've really appreciated it.
And thanks for all that y'all do, because y'all give women a good name.
Appreciate it. Hey, go give that little daughter a hug for us, why don't you?
Will do. Y'all have a good one.